You need to have that gut feeling.
We need to make it.
You need to fail first to win later.
How you find the right approach to talk to people?
I just love to sing it loud and make him feel shy. You go from Ferrari to Honda. So you go from spaghetti to sushi. And it's different.
Hope they will watch it. Hi everyone, and welcome to the first part of the SOFTSWISS Excellent Talks. I'm 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 15 years. We like to share our experience in business, and we like also to invite great people to our talks and talk about business and talk about their interests, their experience, and how we can connect this experience with the business. Today, we have our first guest, our non-executive director for Latin America, Rubens Barrichello. Please enjoy.
Rubens Barrichello is a legendary Formula One driver with a record 322 Grand Prix starts, 11 victories, and 6 years alongside Michael Schumacher at Ferrari. Now, as a non-executive director in Latin America at SOFTSWISS, he brings his wealth of experience to the business world.
Rubens, yesterday you visited our office in Poznań, in Poland, and you were speaking to our guys, and they were asking you different questions about the racing, about the mental health, and I saw this and I felt that you are really the right person to talk to the people and to motivate people. But today I want to be a little bit on the business side and leadership side, and I want to talk to you how your experience being in Formula One driver, being a child that came to this top level of the racing sports. What is the connection between leadership and the successful pilot of Formula One? Where is the connection between Formula One team, the management of Formula One team, and the successful business companies, startups, etc.? So I want to ask you some questions, and I wonder whether we can find this, common point between these two big industries or big like streams of businesses.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a very, very nice topic, because at the end of the day, an experienced guy has no experience until it works a lot of time. But it's important that whenever you have love and there's passion for the work, you spend a lot of time with it. So, for example, when I jumped into Formula One for the first time, I was 19. So how an engineer, a top engineer in Formula One, will believe on someone who has 19 years?
Basically a kid.
Basically a kid. So he needs to come in with some good background and some good study from him to basically sit down like I sat down with the Jordan on the first day, and it was the first day they had the manual shift gears.
It just was there invented, like first time.
For Jordan. It was already used in Ferrari. It was
today we have in the normal cars
exactly.
Every
it was
day.
The first time we used a Jordan. It was me who conduct the car. But because of my feeling, he didn't want to know. He knew for sure that we were going to get better, not in terms of time, but in terms of feeling.
Yeah.
So with my feeling, I was able to process that, and I became a kid with some leadership, because he knew I knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, but this is a very interesting point, the feeling. In business, we always have this business feeling or business, like mind. And there are like normally two kind of businessmen. They say, I just trust my feeling, and I don't care what the numbers are saying, I don't care what the managers are saying, and others are saying, I trust only numbers. Numbers are saying the same, everything, and if you understand the numbers very well, you can predict the future, you can understand what way to go. What is your point? Do you think it should be some correlation, or you are born with this gut feeling of speed and leadership? Because leadership is also something that you can't, I believe, get when you are a small child. So you kind of should born with that.
I believe that as long as a leader don't forget that being humble is the way to go, because I can say I have a gut feeling that it's going to rain.
Yeah.
So I need to go for wet tires. But what is my gut feeling telling me? Okay, the wind is blowing from that side to this side, and the last time it did that, it rained. It's my gut feeling because I woke up wanting that the track is wet. So where is it come from? Should I call the airport nearby and check the whole area? So it's...
Was it possible to call the airport?
Exactly. You could do stuff to... But then... And then there are so many times you just have a gut feeling that you need to go this way, and off you went. But you have a lot of people working for you, and it has to be a team event. So I use this wet situation because a lot of decisions on the wet needs to have a gut feeling.
Yeah. If
you're afraid, then you wait to rain, and you're in the middle of the track. Spa-Francorchamps is like long, really long, and then you just started the lap and it's raining. The lap of a minute, it will take like 3 minutes, so you lost already the race. So you need to have that gut feeling, but also have the humble aspect for you to never be so... you're never good enough.
Yeah.
You have to work with people that you like. You have to work with people that maybe you don't like, but you respect.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are part of gut feelings.
But you think the true leader is born with this feeling, or you get this feeling by some, I don't know, events, by experience? So what do you feel about you? Was you born like this?
I feel that everyone has a chance to have a leader leading someone.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that life is too good for us to think that only few people have that. It's my humble belief that everybody should have that. But what is the worst fear in the whole world? That people have, they are afraid of doing something wrong, and then people will have an opinion on him. So when you are afraid of something, it paralyzes you.
Mm-hmm. It kind of stops you, basically, doing something.
It don't make you move. So that's why I believe that so many people in the world that have the gut feeling and the ability of being a leader, but because of this paralyzation,
mm-hmm.
it doesn't go forward. So there are people, I believe that I was a kid that I have so much respect for my family. And what my father would say, amen, I would do it. But when I was 16 and I traveled to Europe, I had to make my own decisions.
Yes.
I give you an example. My father would stand up and started to walk towards the kitchen, and the dog would walk behind. And I kept an eye on that for such a long time. I said, is this because the dog loves him? Is because the dog respects?
Mm-hmm.
Or is because he knows the leader is walking there and I should just walk?
Yeah.
And I kept studying that. My dream was for me to stand up and have my dog. And with my dog, I do tell him yes or no,
mm-hmm.
but I give him a lot of love. I just love to be able to be with an animal and so on. And he, everywhere I go, he goes behind me. But I think this is leadership as well, to show show a kiddo, show an animal, show what is right and what is wrong, and then the decision is yours. It's almost like you want to do it wrong, and you want to persevere with a wrong decision. It's your gut feeling that you need to go there. I can tell you that I've been there, and it's the wrong one. But then there is a decision.
I think there are a lot of people in the world that have great ideas that could start some startups, some maybe even progressive and unique, innovative companies, but they just stop themselves because they are afraid, right? So
Exactly.
they don't believe in themselves. What if would be the situation for you if, for example, there is a race and the team is saying to you, the numbers are like that, and we need to set up the car or the tire pressure, for example, or the weather will be like that. So make this. And your gut feeling is saying you, I don't think so. I think it's different. Like I need to do this tire pressure. I need to do this little bit angle of the front wing or something like that. So what you would choose? You choose basically the data back in the days. Maybe today it's a little different, but 10 years ago. But I think it's same also maybe today. You need to fight yourself with your gut feeling against the numbers. So you would say, what you would decide?
When you are 16 and you work with someone that have a lot of experience, you need to let him know that your gut feeling is telling you different. But it's a team sport and he will respect. So at the end of the result, it hasn't gone the team's way, but you put your view. It's not that you're going to put your finger now and say, look, I told you. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
But then in a quiet meeting, you say, look, I felt that it was wrong, so I would like you to respect my gut feeling the next time. But then I give you an example. Mm-hmm. It was only a month ago. It was a new car for me in the GT Open in Europe. And I went out. The track was wet, mm-hmm. and they gave me this new tire. I straight away felt that the pressures of the tire was far too high. Mm-hmm. And then I was on the lap, and I could feel the car was strange on the straight, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. because what makes the wet tire alive is the amount of water that goes through the little mm-hmm. rivers of the tire. Yeah. And
so
that,
you have to be quite good on the ground. Yeah,
exactly.
Not too hard.
If there is not enough water, that thing in the middle, yes. the tire, yeah. it starts to move, and then you just don't have the grip.
Inside, yes.
And then I told the guy the pressures are a little too high, and he came back to me and said, Rubens, that's how it's done. I say, okay, I'll try for you. I went out, and it was not good. I said, I want this pressure. He said, no, it doesn't work. I said, look, mm-hmm. it's let's make this amicable, because you want something, I did. Now I want something.
Yeah.
So he went down, and I went out, and I put the car on pole. And he said, Jesus Christ, Rubens, it never worked here. I said, but it's a feeling. It was a feeling. With all my experience, you need to use that. And sometimes we're just afraid of using something different, and then it stops you. So
basically, feeling is something that you get better and better with the experience. And if we say somebody... I mean, we want to give an advice to somebody out of the business space. Like, you can do mistakes, but as more you learn, as more you do business, or also mistakes in the business, as better your feeling will be.
Because there is no way to have a really good leadership if he always got it right.
Sure.
Because then he doesn't know any other way.
Superman.
Well, we have Supermans in any sports or any business. That's for sure. But that's why I believe that when you have your feet on the ground and you're humble, you know that when you got it wrong, it's for you to learn. You feel bad about it, yes. But it's the way to use that to make it better. Every one of us have gone through situations like this. So for sure, if the guy is, for me, my best leaders were always humble enough to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I got it wrong. I think this is so right. Yeah. And for the whole team, it doesn't matter if you have your team is a party of 2, of 100, of 1,000, or 5,000, or whatever. I got it wrong, but we work together and we make it right.
That's correct. Yeah, it's very good advice for any reader. So I know myself in the beginning when you start the business, and you do mistakes, obviously.
Yes.
But it's very hard to say it's my mistake, so I accept it. Yeah. Let's get ahead. Let's do something new. Let's try. And now I try to pass it to my guys, to the management team, which is quite big as well. It doesn't make sense if you if you do mistake or if your decision will be successful. But important is to make this decision, to make it fast, to try. If you fail, okay, it's your experience. It's you getting stronger. But do it, right?
It is correct, and it also works in a family effect, because all you want is. For example, you take an exam of your son and you see he's bad. He said, Dad, unfortunately, I study the wrong thing. I thought it was about this and it's about that. And I was... So what are you going to do? It's a fair statement.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, got it wrong. We'll get it right. So I think life is about that. Life is, if you are too hard, sometimes it works. You got to be hard in some situations. Yeah. But you got to understand as well if someone that is working with you enjoys working with you or not. Because this is also the energy.
The environment, the energy.
It makes a nice energy all through that. And I've worked with several teams. And the distance between the good teams and the bad teams were not just money, but it were people when they had and I said that on our other podcast. It was, I'm from the engine and you are from the car and you've done something wrong. And then I go and say, I told this is not. So it doesn't work. Okay, we got it wrong. How we make it better, how we make it harmony, how we're gonna survive.
So don't search for the guilty man. Search for the problem and solution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not be we cannot be afraid of getting it wrong, because it's the only way to get it right.
Yeah. Coming now from leadership to the team spirit. So from my perspective, there is no company in the world that could be built, like a big company that could be built without a proper team. And in this team, people should play a very important, sometimes even small role. But without this role, the whole company is not going up. So I believe Formula One is the top of the racing, and also technology-wise. And always we see, obviously, two drivers that are the faces of the team and the faces of the brand. And obviously, these guys like you were one of the best in the world. Like it's like 20 plus guys who achieved these results to get into the Formula One. And there are much less that win the race and much less that get the championship. So what is the secret to, to power your team behind, because usually they are nowhere, they are nobody. Nobody see them, nobody knows the names. So how to motivate them, how to make them stronger? Because I believe without the proper team that you just told us, don't put the finger on somebody, just work together. Nobody can achieve anything.
I think the drivers are the almost the the least part, but not because they're not important. They are super, super important because they are the one that are going to drive the car.
Yeah.
But it's fairly important to work with the leader of the team to know what's going on. Because imagine that someone that is maybe 40 years old, that work a lot with the team, see an 18-year-old just out of school performing so well, and the team is actually giving more chances to the 18 than the 40.
Yeah.
If there is almost a chaos that, well, how is that happen? I've been here working 10 years and I never had an evolution like that kid.
I'm a senior.
but it's we need to give space for people that bring different ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the team perform, and that's how the team gets better, because it's the way that we're going to have evolution. It's I learned so much from my kids. I need to be humble enough to say, okay, this is a good point, but I need also to be a leader to say, look, what you are telling me is never going to work in any part of the world, because it is like this. You are free to do your thing, but I am telling you that it doesn't. So it's a driver needs to see some of that part as well with an eye from the outside, because he's not supposed to actually tell who's right or who's wrong.
Yeah.
The driver will get there to do his job, which is drive the car, understand what the car is doing, and transpose that into the engineer, who will tell the mechanic, who will tell the tire man. So everyone needs to do their own job. Yeah. If somebody tries to do two jobs, it's also a mistake. But if you have an exit eye or a distant eye to help people, and maybe the mechanic, it's a very, let's say, he's down to himself, he's not outspoken, but he does a really good job. I don't care. He does a good job. He is the best tire man. He does blam, blam, fast. Yeah. But it's a leadership also needs to have an eye from the outside to see what is going on.
Nice. And if we want to disassemble a little bit the Formula One team to understand the roles and to compare these roles to the normal or typical business structure, who is really the CEO of the company? Who is the COO? Who is doing CTO job? So where is the role of the pilots? Are they really the CEOs? They lead? Is the main director, like the manager? So you've been in many teams, but you spent a lot of time in the best team at that time at Ferrari, and you won several constructional championships. You won a lot of races, and the team must be at that time the best package of roles, and it should be assembled very, very efficient.
Yes.
So what you would say, who was the CEO, who was who?
I think it's hard to answer your question, but it's almost like you have several CEOs, because
actually then it could be a good also pass to the business. So co-CEOs, it's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea, because whenever the CEO of the company, at the time you take the president of Ferrari. Yeah. He's the CEO of the company, but he doesn't know how to run the company. Yeah. So he contracts a CEO that will be his right hand, that he has a logistic view, and he will contract the best guy for the engine, the best guy for the car, the best engineer. So we have lower CEOs on their ways. And he will contract Rubens Barrichello because he think he will be the best one to set up the car. Yeah. I am the CEO of my company, my car, and I'll tell my engineer that I need lower pressure. Because that's the feeling that I'm feeling with the car. And he looks at me and say, oh, we never tried that, but I like that. So in a way, we all presidents of the whole company, but work in harmony to deliver to the top guy who is actually finding the money to pay all of us in a way. So the best meeting ever that I learned at Ferrari was right after the race. But like 5 minutes after the race, people would be...
So you're talking about like some conflict or something like that. So it was my question, how it was at Ferrari, for example, the best team, how you solved these conflicts. But because I know that there were some at your history. So please
but
tell.
It's so 5 minutes after, we went to the team's base and talk about the problems that we had in the race. All the problems. And we took notes. You fresh, alive to put the problems down. So let's say that your company had this amazing structure to go to Portugal. 100 people of yours are there, and 75% went well, and 25% didn't. If you meet straight away, you can say, okay, you can concentrate a little bit on the 25% to make it right, but also to compliment people on the 75% right. And people feel good about it, and they know that they need to deliver for that 25%, because problems are there. We always gonna have problems. We know we never. If I contract someone that he say, "Oh, I never had problems," I will send him home. I don't need that. I need someone that will go through the problems.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I can't obviously talk to you, and don't touch the topic of Michael Schumacher, your like teammate, and as you said, just we had several CEOs. Probably he was also own CEO of his own car and the team, right? But so probably not probably, but you were competitors, obviously, and you were competing on the track. But obviously that you should also work for the team result. And we know we face quite often in the company, even in our structure, that we have some shared services. For example, finance department or HR department that are working for all the departments, all the business lines in our company. But we have, for example, the platform, the game aggregator, and the 𝗕𝗏𝗀𝗏 partnership program. And there are separate teams that have separate goals, and obviously they need to get to this goal, and they like more or less kind of not really thinking about what the others are achieving, because they have own goals, but they need to somehow also to communicate and to get the best resources from the shared services. And the company in total, like we as a management, I'm as a founder, as a shareholder, I always looking at the whole results, right? So how to get these separate business lines or small CEOs to get into the common goal?
I think you already answered that, because you said, for me, I don't mind. It's whoever brings me what I have asked. For me, it doesn't matter if it's team A, team B, or team C. But at Ferrari, at my time, Michael came in first, so he had the basically,
because he was first.
He was there for longer, and at the beginning, I didn't have a problem, because I was learning from him, and I had a lot of respect for that. But soon I said, look, but you guys are using me to do the tires, to test all the tires, because you already understand that I have a better feeling with that. So why don't I have this, and why don't I have that? It's the same feeling. So, And that's why I choose, after I had 6 years at Ferrari, and I had another year of contract.
Yeah.
And I decided to leave the contract before, because I'm trying to be a CEO here, but I understand that there are days that I win and there are days that I lose. And that's where my humble side tells me, but if you make me lose the day that I need to win, it's not right. I don't care if it's team A, team B, or team C. But if you care, it's not for me. Thank you very much. That's how you also become a leader of yourself. So then I go for another team, even if I'm not that happy. I am in control of my own destiny. Because if you're trying to control my destiny, and I'm telling you, you will miss me, because for sure, Michael is a fantastic driver, and I've always told the team, he's better than me, but is it 51-49 or is it 70-30? We don't know. You don't let me play my fool. You see, because my problems, I never disbelieve what I had in the car. But because I had strategy B, you need to be so strong in your mind for you to be able to deliver. So how you can deliver if you don't have the best strategy? Let's put it a simple thing for you to think. If every time you get to this place where they make this beautiful bread, you get there at 8 o'clock, and the bread is finished, you only have the bread from yesterday, what are you going to do? You're going to get there a little earlier the next day.
Sure.
And the next day, and the next day, because you want the
bread.
The
fresh bread,
You don't want the old one. Okay, if I have a problem with the money, or if I have a problem that I have to take my kids to the school and I'm only available at 8, I know what I have. But knowing what I have is better than not knowing what you don't. What you're supposed to know anyway. So I say that with also gratitude, because I had to travel so far with my head. You have I wasn't afraid of taking chances and doing something different, and that's why so many times I won races when it was wet. Because I took chances and I had a gut feeling. So
I guess like Brazilians, they have this feeling for wet races somehow. Like
it does rain from 1 second to the other in Brazil.
That's why
I've raced in Brazil once with one side slicks and one side.
It's
so
possible.
You can play with the Formula. It's probably not possible, but it's with the go-karts it was.
It's interesting. I mean, we just came from the team members, team structures to competition basically, right? And in the business there is always the competition, but some businessmen, they think like, if I have some position, I put this off, I have literally like a monopoly, or I mean quite like less slow competition, then it's much better for the business. What do you think? I mean, you were better as a driver or anybody else with the high competition, or you would be happy not to have competition and to win and be the best?
High competition. Because at the end of the day, the trophy, the cup, it's a material thing. It's like a glass. I can tell you, this is my first cup. So cheers for that.
Cheers.
And I'll put it here. So it will stay here, and you will always look into that. But then what is behind this is the memory that went through. So if I had I had my first ever win in Hockenheim, I won from 18th place. So you tell me, is it nicer to win from pole or from 18th? The story is much better from 18th.
Sure.
Because there are so many easy victories, but it's what we carry. It's the memory. Because at the end of the day, that cup is going to be there forever, maybe, and my kids will have on their houses and so on. But it's what I carry in terms of memory. So I prefer much, and that's why I accept the fact that go to Ferrari to check how good I was.
Yeah.
And I came definitely stronger out of that relationship.
Yes, I have same position, and I see sometimes in our industry when some countries are, let's say, closing the country with the regulation. Why I say closing? Because sometimes the regulation is driven by big players in the country. They are for a long time there. They are not online, and they don't understand really how the business nowadays works like online. But they try to push the regulation into the oligopoly or monopoly, and they think they will doing better, but in the reality they don't. So they are becoming slower, becoming not efficient, and even I think we can name some countries or many countries like that have the same problem. Yeah, I think competition is very important in any kind of business, any kind of sports as well.
Yeah,
so
I think we have. When I do my speech, I always try to tell people that that's why I open up for the public for question.
Yeah.
Because they think that my job is different than theirs. And I think that in life, we have competition from all the sides. Family, friends, no friends, and different companies. And so at the end of the day, is always the same principle. Work hard, study, sweat, but if you enjoy what you're doing and you have this humble situation, is a winning package.
There is no easy bread,
No.
So you have to do something. Yeah. Your experience is having worked for several Formula One companies and Formula One teams. And I think, or I believe, there are different cultures in these companies, or there were different cultures in these companies. What do you think the culture for the company, for the team is, and how it influences the team member? So you changed from Jordan to Ferrari, from Ferrari to Honda, from Honda to Brown. It was not changed, but still, then to Williams. So what are the main difference of the culture, and how you think this culture was influencing the results of the team?
I think the most important thing is that the unknown, something that we don't know, so the unknown, we have to get to know. Why? Otherwise we judge. So we don't play tennis, and then we see a player on his last time to win, and he tries to go on the parallel, and he gets it wrong, and you say, oh, he should never done that. Have you ever played tennis? Do you know what you're talking about? Because at the end of the day, when you talk about different cultures, if you don't know, it's so easy for me to say, oh, they eat this thing that is so wrong. But have you eaten that? Have you tried that? It's a process. So you need to respect. To get respect, you need to respect. Because otherwise, you go from Ferrari to Honda. So you go from spaghetti to sushi. And it's different. It is different.
I hope they will watch it.
You go from spaghetti to sushi, and they serve spaghetti at Ferrari and they serve sushi at Honda. So do you think this should change the way of working? No. They say there's carbohydrates and there is you can have a little meat in the spaghetti. You can have a little fish inside the rice. Yeah. So you need to try things before you can judge and say, okay, I don't like to eat any of this type, and I decide to leave to work for a different company, because otherwise it's just the same thing. If the engine is not doing correct for the chassis, they get a fight because they don't know what it is. So I think that more than humble is to have respect as well for the other, and believe that he's trying to do the best. when you find out, or the CEO finds out that he's actually not doing the best, then there's need for a conversation, because it's a team effort. So if one person is not doing right and 9 are trying their best, it's not fair that one will get everyone down.
Yeah, I mean, culture is important, right? So the team culture is something that builds in the team. And you just you just told about the team culture that was driven by also the cultural thing outside of different countries, right? So or nationals. And it's actually a very important and interesting question for the international business. So, for example, for us in SOFTSWISS, we do business worldwide. So, we do business in Latin America, in Brazil right now with the new regulation. We do business in Europe. We do business in Africa right now as well. What is the key point to talk to different cultures and not to be failed? Because in negotiations, when you negotiate the deal, you need to understand the science, you need to understand how the people are thinking, and sometimes it's a misbehavior. You not appreciate, you think they are the same like me, they think the same like me, but it's usually a mistake. Because there are small details, and for example, when I was in Brazil, I was talking to people, also talking to you. I understand, I see these small details that are important for Brazilian people, but maybe not important for European people. And when I say European people, in Europe, there are also different, like you said, like spaghetti or sausages in Germany, etc. So how you find the right approach to talk to people, to talk to your fans as a Formula One driver, to talk to the team guys that are from different part of the world?
I think you can take the work that you've set up in Europe, take it to Brazil. If the CEO in Brazil, or the person who is actually going to help you in Brazil, if he's frank, he's going to tell you that works or that doesn't work here in Brazil. Then you can accommodate. But it's only when the results come for the first time that you see, okay, it didn't work. So it's better that I study the Brazilian nation to see what can just accommodate, basically. Just what is the match? Because an engine, when we go to Brazil, there's less air. Mm-hmm. So we breathe less. So therefore, there's less power. Yeah. So you need to accommodate stuff to make the engine feel alive for you to go. So it's the same thing with the business. You need to go there, and maybe you need to fail first to win later. Yeah. If you're lucky enough, then you start winning.
Touch a little bit the ground.
Yeah. You just see it. But it's like everything. Why so many good food don't work in several countries? Mm-hmm. Because you need to accommodate. Sometimes you go there for a year, you lost money, and you're gone. Yeah. But if you persevere, maybe the food was in the wrong spot. You need to bring to where the better spot it is. So it needs a lot of study from the CEO, but also good people working on the team for you to understand what the business is. Because if it's good somewhere, it will be good everywhere. Yeah. Okay, there are places that you can say that it's not for this country because they live in a different era or something. Okay, it's fair enough. But if you have a winning combination somewhere, there are chances that you have at least 75% of happiness with what you have.
Yeah, that's why we have you. You are super experienced with the local market, obviously, but you're also a very international guy. So you know much more from the cultural point of view that anybody in our company knows. So yeah, I think it's the right approach.
I am super happy, and that's why I call you a couple of times to have a meeting with your technology.
Yeah.
And they were very interested on my stories of Formula One.
Yeah. I wasn't expected that, to be honest, but they were so motivated after that. So you can't
it's
believe.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's because you didn't call me for no reason, just for the PR thing. Is because you probably know that I love the setup.
Yes.
I really do like to put a bad car into a good car, and to put something that it needs just a little adjustment. And I needed to know your guys for me to be able to make my heart work in the same direction. So I really I had a lovely meeting that day.
Thank you. It's actually a good example. We have like a setup for the car, but we brought this setup to the Indianapolis now to have the race and to win the race. So now we need to set up the car a little bit. So this is what we do in our technology.
To tune.
Yes, cool. We were a little bit chatting before about this, but I want to touch this question once again, because I think in the common business scene it's very important. The questions about stressfulness, about the burnouts, etc. So you were traveling, and you're still traveling a lot, but you were traveling much more worldwide, like from Japan to Brazil and so on. And as a Formula One pilot, you need, first of all, be always concentrated. So you need to understand how to set up the car, to communicate with the people, not to be tired. And second, which is very important, you need to drive on the super high limits, like over 300 kilometers per hour. Stay concentrated, plus to switch some tumblers on, some off, and And I think it should be so big stress. All these flights, all this back and forth, all these time zone changes, and there should be some tricks, or I don't know, some mental maybe something that is helping you or was helping you to be and stay concentrated, and still maybe helping the current young pilots.
I believe you're right. But getting to know me always made me feel better, because yes, every time I meet you, I know a little bit more about you, but I can only present myself if I'm feeling good. For me to feel good, I know that I need sleep. So sometimes you are tired a little bit because of this and that, but I normally go to bed at a time that I know that I will be in good shape the next day. So I did a lot of travel this week, a lot of conference, a lot of energy that goes on and off. But I know the next week I'll be racing with my kids. That makes me feel relaxed. That makes me feel gratitude for all the week that I put into work. That has been quite really positive, because I made people better, I motivate people, and that gives me a good feeling. But also next week I have the kids racing with me, and I'm, in a way, when I exchange ideas with Eduardo, he's only half of my age, even less, but he's 23, I'm 52, he's 30 years less, but I love to hear his comments. And I'm, with that, as a senior guy, knowing that the world changes and rolls. And I love that. I really do love that. So first of all, I need to be good with my sleep. Second, I know that I need time for myself, and that sometimes my best companions are the dogs, because they are happy either way. I just go, and they, if I tell him something bad, he smiles at me. If I tell him something good, he smiles at me. And obviously, I have this gratitude to work with I love. And the work that I love is driving, but also contribute to make people better. I love to be with the energy of people, and have this feeling when we were at the factory there with everyone at SOFTSWISS. I had really good questions. And the best question that I gave the gift, it was, what do you do when you're doing nothing? Which doesn't happen that often, but it's for me, it was a really good question, because people all want to extract the best out of me when I'm actually doing the job.
Yeah.
But do I cook well? Do I sing? So things like this, it was so fantastic. So I will be relieved that I put a really good work into this week. But next week we're gonna be racing. And I'll give my
more passion, more energy.
I will give my very best.
So basically, if we talk about also business, people that are working in the great companies, do only what you really like to do, enjoy what you are doing, be driven, and then there is no burnout, there is no stress, etc.
It's fair to say that maybe for you to get where you're really happy, you need to go through phases that you're not happy.
Mm-hmm.
Because
you can't be all the time happy. It's impossible.
It's impossible. It's happiness. Happiness is a state of mind. Happiness for me is be happy where you are now. So if I'm happy here, because I'm talking to you, you were frank, we're going through an audience that will hear, I'm happy here. This means happiness. Can I be happy all the time? No. I mean, I have to travel to Brazil 12 hours. It would be boring as well. But maybe for me to conquer, I want to be the boss of this company. I have to work really hard to get there, and maybe I'm not happy going all the way, working with people. And this is part of the process. For you to win, you need to know how to lose.
100%. And you were saying about the question, what you do when you do nothing. Actually, I read in one book, there is a quite famous book of 𝗘𝘅𝗽𝗀𝗃 Castaneda, that actually to do nothing is very hard. I mean, to do nothing, to have no thoughts, like to clean the head.
Hard.
It's super hard. And few people in the world right now, they can do this. I mean, no internet, no phone, no things, like nothing.
It's very, and that has nothing to do with religion.
Absolutely.
But spiritualized people are the ones that can take 5 minutes of their day to try just to ease off, just to
switch off from the matrix.
Yeah, because it's tough. It's a tough job. But if we have gratitude that we are in this life and getting to know the people we know, it makes it easier.
From this point, I want to ask you maybe a weird question, but in my opinion, people that are driven by different arts, they are more efficient and they are more open-minded than the people that have no touch with any art. So actually, I wanted to ask you about the music. Do you have some favorite groups, or did you listen, or do you listen still before you go into the car and drive the championship, to some special music or music styles that gives you also energy?
Yeah, I think art and music, they are so very special. I love the countryside music of Brazilian, just a country Brazilian music. Yeah. There are so many stories there. Sometimes the guy, I question, I have so many friends in that zone, and I question, did you actually went through this? Mm-hmm. Or he was a friend of yours, or someone had a story to tell. And it's amazing how the music, I love the melody, but I like the
context as well.
The context. It makes makes me get to know that I can suffer from a bad feeling or from love or from anything that, people have the same. So that's why I promote getting to know yourself.
Yeah.
For me, it's the most important thing. So my mechanic, for example, when I sing to him, he always tells me, "Oh, luckily you are a racing driver," because I sing badly. I don't.
But
I'm not a
you
great.
think it's
I'm not a great singer, but I just love to sing it loud and make him feel shy. So it's just a common thing that it's a nice feeling.
And in the childhood, when you were like 6, 10 years old, you also was listening to this country music, and it gives you power.
Not so much, because it's more it's younger. I'm 52, so let's say 40 years old, 40 years old, this thing that became more popular. I've always enjoyed the contest of the music. The Italians, when I went to live in Italy when I was 16, I learned to speak Italian because of 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪. I translate all the music, and so I got to know the music and the words because of the music. I've always liked music from U2, Bon Jovi. They always express awareness from the world, and I like those kind of things. And I like music in general. When you brought me here, for example, I did watch that it was 90 on 90s. I like those type of musics, and I was waiting to press the 80 on 80s just for me to.
You could do it.
But you see, as a racing driver, you do pay attention on a lot of stuff.
Yes.
We have this visual. But people say, for example, what is the best start? The best start is not always looking at the light, but just looking underneath. Okay. Because if you look at my hand, you can see my face.
Yeah. Like not clearly, but
exactly.
Yes.
But your quickest reaction, people used to say, that is when you're not looking directly.
Okay.
So how do I know this? I need to study. I need to provoke myself for being better. You can never be satisfied with your moment. You have to always want for more. And that's, you only get to know that reading books, reading biographies of people that went through problems, because you say, whoa, I had that problem. So, and then you, that's how I get on with my job. I am someone who can be stressed, but normally I'm a quite normal guy. When I put my helmet, and then I become like a flight.
Cool. Some small questions, like we are talking about business and about Formula One and racing in general, but do you have any hobbies or something that you like to do outside the racing and the business? So what is your passion, not in the racing space, not in the car space? So do you have something like that?
I play golf. I do like to cook barbecue for my friends. I am a wine lover, a red wine lover.
Nice.
It became a late habit, but it's I love to go for. So if I'm in Germany, I will try a German wine because I need to get to know the culture side as well. So things like this, I always tend to do.
Are you going into the wine specialities deeper, or you like to taste, you like to enjoy, you try to understand how it was done?
Because I'm a good setup guy.
Yeah.
I like to taste and to feel the difference of the grapes.
Okay.
I like to provoke myself that as well.
What was the most surprising maybe advice that you got back in the days and it helps you somehow to achieve better results, but such an advice you wouldn't expect to get.
I tell you, the one advice that I wasn't expecting to have, but it helped me a great deal, was that I came, Eduardo was 10 years old. Eduardo's my son.
Yeah.
And we were walking the circuit. He was 10, so 13 years ago. And I told him, look, this corner looks like you need to go on the outside for you to close it later. Said, Dad, I respect you a lot, but for me, it's on the inside. I said, man, what are you trying to tell me? I had 19 years of Formula One, and then I was a little snob in thinking.
Okay.
I didn't tell him straight.
Okay.
I said, what is this little guy trying to tell me? As soon as we went to the track, it was the inside line. It was not the outside. So I tell you that with the emotion, because we have to know that we can give our best, but there will be someone that can be better than us in some aspect, and then you have to respect. I went there to him and I said, you were right. Thank you very much. You helped me a great deal. Because he needs to have the respect for me that I have achieved like a fantastic thing. I had no money and I got to Formula One and so on. But I need to respect the life in full. We don't know everything all the time. So
this was the surprise
for
advice.
me, it was a big surprise that put me with my feet on the ground, humble again, and just go. And I won the championship that day. So
cool.
It was fantastic.
Small and fast blitz questions. The best book that you think, your best book, your favorite book?
I basically like to read books about self-knowing. The last book, it's in a Brazilian test, but it was about someone. The book was trying to tell me that it wasn't just talent. You need to be in the right environment for you to perform.
Yeah.
So basically, it was nice for me to know, because I believe that talent makes someone.
Yeah.
But how you actually know that you have a talent? I was born in Interlagos, which is where the race circuit is.
Yeah.
Is that the reason why I became a good driver? Probably.
Yeah, of course.
You see, so that's
to be in the right time, in the right place, and to push yourself as well.
And doing it repeatedly.
Yeah.
You have to repeat.
Yes.
Because I lived there, I could go kart almost every day after school. So you see, and then I love this. It's a compliment.
Okay.
But this book really caught my attention.
Cool. Probably a very simple question for you, but who, according to your opinion, is the best driver ever? Like from all the drivers?
I have an opinion, and probably you already know the answer. But the most important thing is that we cannot calculate how good drivers were in different times.
Yeah.
Fangio on the 50s, Senna on the
80s,
90s. It is tough, but as a Brazilian, I just love what Senna did. He helped me a great deal in my career, and he was someone that it was always very important to me. So I love Senna for what he was and what he is.
Cool, thank you. And the last question, I believe, what is the best ever company that you think was like funded and performed in the history of business, basically? So what do you think this company is one of the best in the world, or for you it's like an example that how the companies should be built and should be building the brand and everything? So what do you think is the best?
My interest for the companies started later, because like I told you, I got to a city, and the first thing I would try to know, where was the circuit.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It took me 7 years of racing in Barcelona to get to know the city.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine that I never had such an opinion on companies. I've done a lot of work for different companies, Brazilian companies, the one that took me to Formula One, but it was only recently that I started to believe that because I was doing my motivational speech, they took me to companies, and I needed to study a little bit about the companies and what. Because if I go to your company, you're going to say, Rubens, any motivational advice will work. No, Rubens, we need to motivate them for December because it's the best selling, and so it's a different. So I wouldn't tell you the best one, but I love people who tell me that they didn't succeed at first to succeed later, because they went through what we all go through, tough times to become good times. We all have paranoias, or we have breakouts, and we need to survive that. I think this is part of our life. And I study a little bit of the animals as well, because the animals, even though they don't have a reason to talk and so on, you can see they are the nature. They also fight. They are also depressed. Every day I'm going to leave my Brazilian country, the dog is actually suffering. So
and you feel it.
If you feel it. So companies are the same, and I appreciate that I'm working now with SOFTSWISS to be able to learn a different culture, and the business itself. For me, it's such a thing that I'm honored to be part of.
Thank you very much. I know you like technology, so I believe we have a lot of technology stacks, and we did a lot of good stuff, and we do as well, and we will. Thank you very much for this nice talk.
Thank you.
We are today in Berlin, and it's first time for you in Berlin, and I'm so happy to be able to show you the city that I love actually, and I live here, and I really appreciate the city, and I hope that we will reach the pandas today. So we need to make it.
I love to go to the zoo now and see the pandas.
Drive.
Thank you very much.
The German speed. Thank you, Rubens.
Thank you.